Okay, so finally we're in the land of Scotch whiskies, and we're beginning with Scotland's oldest working distillery, the Glenturret Distillery, established in 1763. So we're just on our way to meet Jamie, the global brand ambassador.
My name's Jamie Morrison. I'm the global brand ambassador for the Glenturret. So if you'd like to come with me, we'll get started and hopefully we'll have some fun along the way. So here we are in the malt and mill store at the distillery. So I thought it's a good idea to start by giving you a little bit of an understanding about who we are, what we do, and how we got here. Everything for us is about provenance. So the value of provenance, about the people who have worked here, and it's about the place, the special place where we find ourselves in the rolling hills of Perthshire, if you like. We're accessible, but we are in the Highlands of Scotland. So everything we do here at Glenturret is done manually. It's about valuing the tradition and almost curating that tradition so that in 100 years' time, these practices will still be there. It's almost like a duty of care that we have. And if we have a look in this room, these are our malt stores. So the barley will come in under the floor here, into the two malt bins. And over here, we have our rather antiquated, but wonderfully robust and reliable Porteous mill. This particular model is around 110 years old, and that is where we will mill the barley that ultimately will become part of a bottle of whiskey in the future. And this is our mash house here, and it's the room that's probably seen the most transformational change in the past few years. Prior to installing the new mash tun in 2022, we were the last hand-operated mash tun in the whole of Scotland, which was very efficient at removing sugars, but we were using a little bit too much water. Very precious resource, of course. So very proud to say that by introducing the new mash tun, we managed to achieve a reduction in water usage per mash by about 28%, which so far has been almost about 1 million litres of water a year that we've saved. And if I show you quickly how we used to do it, we would use this piece of kit over here, which is called a wooden rouser. And imagine that you are stirring a big pot of soup. That's what we had to do.
Okay, now I'm imagining porridge or something.
And of course, by the second and third water, it got thicker and thicker, so it became increasingly hard, but you'd have really good muscles after.
How many people would be doing this?
So we would have one person on the mash, and that person would take the mash from mashing in, if you like, all the way through to the end and drafting out what was remaining. Which, by the way, the stuff that is remaining, it goes away to local farmers, and they'll use that to mix in to create pellets of food for the animals. If we move from here, I'll show you next door what happens to this liquid called worts that we've subsequently cooled down. So this is our tun room, so T-U-N, tun, Old Scottish word for a container or a vessel. So these rather lovely things here are called Douglas fir washbacks, and they're about 3 metres in depth. And it's also very thick. So what that means for us as a distillery is that it acts as a very, very good insulator. So therefore we don't have any temperature control in here. We allow the wood to do that for us. Now at that stage, it's time for us to start adding yeast. And we use 37 kilos at a time. So all distilleries will have different timings for fermentation. Here at Glenturret, we will ferment in washbacks for anything between sort of 70 to about 100 hours. Most of the actual conversion from sugars into alcohol interacting with the yeast will take place between the first sort of 40 to 60 hour average. So therefore we leave it longer because it gives us that nice fresh fruity character. We want to keep that right the way through into the glass. So therefore we balance a relatively slow distillation in our still house to enable us to keep the character we've built in here and take it all the way through into the glass, where we'll follow the journey of this wash through into our distillation in our copper stills. Okay, so you want to follow me? We'll go this way. So this is our still house. We're using copper. Copper is an incredibly good conductor of heat, and of course the interaction with your spirit will help to remove certain things that don't particularly taste very nice and aren't particularly very good for us. And what we want to do is we want alcohol and water to separate. Now before we do that, the liquid that we were referring to as wash next door has come through the pipe system here And as part of our drive forward for a more sustainable future, we have introduced a preheating system for the wash using residual heat from previous distillations, and it will come back in somewhere around 75 to 80 degrees Celsius. So we're using much less energy in terms of heating up the still. And you can see this large boiling ball in the middle. That there is designed to encourage a process called copper reflux. The more copper contact you have, it's said that the lighter, palatable, softer, smoother your spirit will become. So therefore the liquid will start rising and it will go outward to there, and it almost just refluxes on itself and goes back to the bottom. And eventually above that boiling point of alcohol, it will separate into vapour. If we follow the vapours all the way up the long neck of the still, where it's going to hit a condenser. Now that condenser will cool that vapour back into liquid as low wines. And low wines are about 25% roughly ABV. So this is our sample safe here, a rather beautiful piece of kit, I'm sure you'll agree. And what we have here on this side would be low wines coming from the wash still. Okay, so that's your 25% roughly ABV. It will come down into the receiver, up into the spirit still for distillation number 2. And the team, in terms of the production team, are coming along, and they've got hydrometer, thermometer, they've got line of sight, and it's completely done manually. So no witchcraft and wizardry here. It's about skills and experience, and they'll come down and they will cut depending on strength, temperature, clarity. When it gets to 70% ABV, they'll flick the lever from this bowl to this bowl here, and that becomes the heart of the run. And the other thing I should mention in here is that historically, distilleries, mouse would like to eat the barley, but cat would like to eat the mouse. Circle of life. So we have 2 cats here. One is called Glenn. No surprises for what the other one is called. They both work full time for the marketing department, and they have their own access door into the room here, because this is where they live. So that's Glenturret's door. But we're going to continue following this spirit now as it moves along under the ground, and it's going to join us in our filling stone. And at that stage, we will reduce it down in strength. So we'll draw in water from the stream you can see here behind us, and we'll reduce it down in strength from that 70-ish% down to 63.5. So historically, lots, if not all distilleries, would have been filling at a higher strength. By filling at 63.5, we have a better opportunity for that really vital interaction between spirit and wood to take place. So we'll fill the cask, we'll put a bung and a mallet, bang, 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 and it will go onto a trailer, and it will be taken by tractor 100 metres up the road on the left-hand side to where we have 6 bonded warehouses. In my opinion, we produce a very unique DNA in our new make spirit. We want to celebrate that new make spirit all the way through our range. So we therefore choose casks that we believe will accentuate the character and work in balance with spirit. And that is how we produce Glenturret single malt whisky. So this is our taste bar, and this is the bar where our visitors who come to visit us at the distillery will come through to enjoy a whisky or two. So we've been very lucky in the past few years in terms of the new ownership that we have. So we have created what we hope is a very welcoming and appropriate stage for people to enjoy our whisky. So you'll see here touches of Lalique, or part of our parent company. Barley motif, very fundamental to what we do. And above us, if you haven't noticed already, we have some rather stunning looking Lalique Champs-Élysées chandeliers. If you had told me 5 years ago that I would be standing in this bar, it would look like this, and I would have chandeliers hanging from the roof, I probably wouldn't have believed you. To be in that incredibly privileged position that we are now is a real blessing for us, and we're very, very proud of everything that we have here at Glenturret.
Okay, so that concludes our incredible day with Jamie. Not only did we have the best whiskies, we also had an amazing experience at the 2 Michelin starred Lalique restaurant.